Okay, so I'm doing something a little bit different today. I got my buddy Jordan, he's operating the camera. I'm wearing a lav. This is completely different. First of all, just let me know if this is something that you guys like. Write that in the comment section below. Kind of different from being like a vlog. Instead, I'm gonna give you kind of a walkthrough of how to shoot something when you get to a location. I know personally when I get to certain places, all these ideas start spinning through my head, and when I started shooting and when I started doing a lot of travel videography, I would get to a location and I would get trigger happy. I would start filming a bunch of different things thinking like, oh, I need this, I need that, you're gonna shoot this, and you start filming in a bunch of different areas, but then when you get into post-production, you have too much footage, and at the end of the day, you might not actually have the coverage that you need. So I want to talk about my sort of shooting process. At the end of the day, there's no point on going to a location, filming too much coverage and not using it. You're wasting hard drive space, you're wasting your time, and you're extracting it from being in a beautiful location. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you arrive to a place like this, the first thing that you're going to notice is the fact that it is big, it's expansive. So when I come in, I'll sort of just start to walk around. I'll start looking at the different things within the landscape. So I utilize probably the first 10 to 15 minutes when I get to any sort of spot and I just experience it. So if you notice with where we're at, there's lots of rocks, there's a stream over here, and I just sort of do a quick scout. The second thing that I do when I get to a location is I take the drone out. The reason why I take my drone out within the first 10-15 minutes is it's a great way to scout a location, and also if you're going to somewhere that's a little bit touristy, and let's say you did a hike to try and get there before anybody else, you're putting your drone up before other videographers are putting theirs up, you're getting the shots without other people within it, and again, you're getting a good scout of everything. So maybe you find like a lake off in the distance that you didn't see from your hike. I like to get about 3 to 4 wide shots that are a bit diverse. So with this location specifically, I was able to capture this nice, big, wide, expansive. I was able to just get some detail shots, but then I also got one that told a bit of story. That's where this gets important, is implementing story within the coverage that you're capturing. So I got a shot of my buddy Jordan, the guy who's filming this right now, climbing up the hill. So that is useful for me as a storyteller because it at least explains something rather than just ambient shots or shots of nature. It's a climb up of a mountain, and luckily there's metaphors and stuff in that we won't go too far into. So within my scout and within doing like the quick drone fly, I noticed this like nice little stream here, and it's important to have coverage that has some sort of auditory cues to it, because for me as an editor, I love having audio that can sort of motivate it. So this stream, obviously you can hear the audio. So when you see it in like a sort of B-roll sequence, like the one you saw introing this, that shows you the essence. You hear the sound of the stream. So I would capture maybe 2 to 3 close-ups of that. Maybe not a medium. I kind of like the way it looks up as a close-up. So what we'll do is let's go down, we'll go catch it. With each spot that you get, shoot your one primary detail shot that will kind of explain that area. So again, since this water gives me a nice auditory cue, I'll film a little bit by here, and I'll get like maybe one like primary and then 2 to 3 backups. And then I'll move on to another spot. Now, a couple other areas that really explain this location super well is the rocks. I love the rocks, so I would probably capture another close-up of the rocks within this area. And the reason why I like the rocks and get a close-up of those is because of the detail that they present. They explain this area very, very well. And so with any sort of close-ups that you capture, this is like within narrative as well, it means something. When an audience sees a close-up of something, they remember it. And personally, when I walked up here, the thing I saw the most of was these rocks. So I'll capture maybe 2 to 3 close-up of the rocks because I know that explains the location perfectly. And then I'll move forward to my final and third close-up, which would probably be the shot of this wheatgrass. And I'll get maybe 2 to 3 of those. That way, when I sort of splice it all together, I have the water, the rocks, and that wheat, and that sort of is a nice diverse range of details within the location that explain it perfectly. Now, let's get to the final part, which is story, which is very important. Let's go into the sunlight again. My feet are taking a real beating doing this. I'm like, oh, it'll be totally fine to do this barefoot. So finally, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about story, which is one of the most important things to your video, to your location. When you get somewhere, it's the guiding light, the guiding path for your audience to follow when watching your movie. Now, don't be discouraged by this. This isn't something that you should be worried about, being like, oh my God, I need to have some sort of conflict, or I need to have XYZ need to happen. Someone gets married, someone dies, falls off a cliff. That doesn't have to happen. In fact, your story can literally just be a pathway for your audience to follow. And the story for this video would literally be our character getting to this viewpoint, getting to the peak of the mountain. So literally it's showing you a little bit of ambient shots, then showing you some hiking shots, and then it gets to this beautiful view. And that can be your story. That can be the lead up, that can be the ending. And for me, I like to do a little bit of a talk to camera or something that sort of is like the reward, the climax of your story. And obviously the more interesting stuff that happens, the more interesting your story can get, but you don't have to layer it with crazy stuff. It can literally just be some sort of peak point to the experience for your audience, so that when you get to the climax, you get to the end, there's a bit of a treat or a reward for your audience to take in. But anyway, that's sort of like the series of shots. That's sort of a little bit of it in a nutshell, what I do when I get to a certain location. So again, just a quick overview. What you do is you get to a location, you capture your why, you capture your nice intro shots, but you also capture your outro shots. That's very important. So when you capture that nice wide, think of, okay, how is this video going to end? And I like to end videos on drone shots as well, because you have that nice intro, you see everything, and then it's nice to do an outro where you see everything again. So make sure you get 2 good drone shots for your intro and outro. Second bit is get your detail shots. So what does it feel like? What does it look like? I like doing those in like mediums and close-ups. And then finally, get your story, your narrative stuff, which is, let's say, maybe following someone doing the climb or following yourself doing the climb. And then I like to do like a little bit of like a climactic part. So whatever that might be, it could be a talk to camera, it could be getting to the summit of a mountain, it could be that epic drone shot. Whatever it is, make sure it's like the best part of all the coverage that you've captured. Anyway, right now we're losing light, the sun's going down, it's going behind the mountain. My feet are getting freaking freezing and banged up from doing this walk in my bare feet. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this sort of like walk and talk type style video, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your feedback on it. I want to just do something a little bit different. Anyway, sun's going down. I'm gonna be a silhouette pretty soon. So I'll see you guys later. Let me know if you like this sort of talk to camera stuff with the camera moving around. My feet are freezing, so I'll see you guys later. Keep it fresh. That sounds so weird. I'm never gonna say that again. Okay, bye.